Hello, and thank you for listening to the Handicapable Black Woman Throne Room. My view of humanity is a whole new tea. Hello, and thank you for listening to the Handicapable Black Woman Throne Room. My view. Okay, well, I keep changing up what I'm going to be doing for Sweetest Day, but I have so many dating nightmare stories to tell and so many things to say about Mr. No Heart and Mr. Lack a Key. But so I'm going to spill some generic but deep tea, especially for the Zennials who have a chance to not end up like me. And yes, I've accomplished a lot of stuff, and I'm so happy with what I've accomplished. But when it came to dating, I allowed mental trauma. I allowed everyone else to tell me what I was worth, if I was trash, or how I should be, how I should act, what I should believe in, my identity, my religious identity, what feminism is, what my hobby should be, what my interest should be, what is the definition of a black woman, what's the definition of a woman, and what is the definition of somebody who is undiagnosed but walks differently. So everybody wants to tease, mock, mimic, or tell you, I'm not going to date a woman who can't even walk right. I'm not going to date an R word. I'm not going to, like, I've heard it. Or, oh, I'm not going to hang around with a cripple. And it's like, or cripple's probably going to get to my children. And so I can't date you because I don't want crippled children. I've heard it all within my family, outside my family, so-called frenemies, enemies, all of it. And so, but when it comes to Mr. No Heart, like he tolerated my disability, even though I know sometimes he would, yeah, dot, dot, dot. I'll save that for a different episode. But this episode is for Sweetest Day. I'm going to be kind of talking about the ways that I knew he didn't love me, and how I know he didn't love me, how I know he only wanted to use me and use my money, use my body, use my mental health, take advantage of me, and make sure that he devalued me as much as possible in order to keep me. He made me feel worthless, and but he knew that what he already knew the trauma, and he already knew the mental and physical stuff that I dealt with throughout my childhood and adult. And so he took advantage of that. And so he knew how to gaslight. But at the same time, he knew the nerd part of me. And when we first started talking, I would tell him my goals of wanting to be in a business, wanting to start a business, wanting to write my books. And I mean, when I first started dating him, I realized I told a narcissist, I told a gaslighter, I told the wrong person all of my goals, all of my dreams, to the point where now he's literally taking advantage, or now he knows exactly what to say. And then every time I want to leave, I'm too scared to leave, because since my walking was getting worse, and I went to the doctors, I just talked about this in one of the last episodes. I go to doctors. I went to doctors. But each and every time, you're making it up. You want to walk like this. You're lazy. Pick up your feet. Nothing's wrong with you. But turned out I was born with a disability. But to him, in my opinion, he took advantage, because he knew since I had that disability, or well, he knew something was wrong with my walking, but he knew since his ex-wife cheated on him, and since most women who can walk right could leave him at any moment because he never had anything much to offer, that since I had my undiagnosed disability, he took advantage of it, because he knew I would probably never leave him, because no one else would want me. He knew that. He knew it. That's just my opinion, but I'm I'm going to be putting out the proof in the next 1 to 3 episodes. It might be 4, you never know. But okay. For starters, he has 2 daughters. So when we were talking and everything, we weren't really dating at first. It was more like, wow, you like anime, I like anime, and we like some of the same hobbies, interests, and he knew I was a sapiosexual. He pretended, but after a couple years, I'm like, he's not a sapiosexual. No, because he didn't want to do the talks anymore. He didn't want, like, whenever I'd be like, oh my gosh, we're gonna have shooting stars. It's like, oh, let's check that out tonight. Maybe we can lay out a blanket and, but no. It's like he used to pretend like, oh yeah, let's do it. Then the night of, and I'm like, oh yeah, let's go do it. Oh no, I'm just gonna play video games. And so people are like, oh, that's not a big deal. But it's like for 7 years. So, because right now we have a new moon until November, which, oh yeah, I need to do that episode ASAP. On the Handicapable Black Nerd, I'm going to be doing an episode on what should we call our temporary moon. Yeah, she's only here for a little bit, but I feel like our visitor should get a better name than what the scientists gave her. But anyway, see, I'm a nerd. But it's like he would watch anime with me, but like the bare minimum. And as he was falling asleep, he would watch documentaries, but it's like, okay, can we talk about, like, never the murder mystery type? It was, and the science ones were pretty cool. And I would, like, sometimes I'm like, oh, maybe I can look up some stuff and teach my first graders and stuff. But I was never able to talk about it with him. It was literally me watching while he was snoring. And I'm going to tell the full oil change stories pretty soon, but I'm never letting a random, or not a random, but when I'm in a relationship, I'm never letting that guy touch my car, especially not with oil changes. Never. Never. Because of him, my father said I was stupid, dumb, idiotic, and my ex told me I was not allowed to put his name in it, even though it was his fault. It was his fault. Because I was going to get, you know what? I'm going to tell that story right now. Because, yeah, I'm spilling some tea. Okay, because it's a two-parter, because 2 different times. So I'm working my jobs and everything, and like even when we first started dating, it's like I already know, take my car to the oil place to get an oil change, let them check everything, check the lights and stuff like that. So while we're first getting to know each other, whatever, it's like once, like every 3 to 6, or I forgot how many months it's been since, yeah, I'm working on getting back behind the wheel and everything, so I haven't had to do it in a while. Anyway, like if you watch my disability videos, I talk a lot about my horrific story of doctors undiagnosing me, refusing to diagnose me, and blaming me, like I stated in the beginning of the video, but I talk all about it, so watch it. So anyway, we are talking and discussing and everything at the beginning, and sometimes, like, after he comes home from work, he was like, oh, okay, what did you do today? And so, like once in a while, I'd be like, oh yeah, I got an oil change after work, and I went and got some supplies, because it's like, oh, especially if this when I got the snails, I was looking up different fruits and stuff. So I went to the grocery store, got different fruits and vegetables for the snails, blah blah blah, that kind of stuff. So I was like, so things for either the classroom or work, or when I was starting to get trying to think of ideas for my business, notebooks so I can start writing my novel and my children's books, and so whatever. It was random, but the focus is, well, the oil change. Whenever it was the oil change, you're so spoiled, you're stuck up, you're bougie. Why do you go to an oil change place? See, that's you're so spoiled. I'm spoiled for getting maintenance on my car. I'm spoiled for getting my oil change. It's like, just let me do it. It's like, see, at least you wouldn't seem so spoiled if you let me do it. At least you would seem more, uh, like, other than spoiled, I'm trying to think of other adjectives, but I'm trying, like, I need to focus on this. Like, I'm already getting off subject a little. Remember, my YouTube channel is as messy as my life. So, anyway. And so, after the second or third time, it's like he was like, "Why are you so spoiled? Why are you so bougie?" I'm not spoiled. I'm not bougie. I'm just getting an oil change. What's wrong with getting an oil change for my car? And so, like, maybe it was like, that would probably be gaslighting. And to me, it's like, I guess I went through so much gaslighting. I got so used to it. I just thought it was normal. But yeah, it's like he gaslit me quite a lot. And so, anyway, oh, actually, like, also now, I think it was around year 3 or 4, maybe 3.5 or 4 years into our relationship. I remember when he turned his chair over, and I've said this in a couple of videos, but I remember the day. It was a summer day. He turned his chair around and he was like, "Yeah, when my youngest daughter graduates high school, you're going to come with me. We're moving up north. We're moving to Lake City." Who, in my opinion, that's one of the most racist cities I've ever. And my family's from Alabama, but Lake City is one of the most racist cities I have ever been to. They, the way they stared at me, the way they treated me, the way they ignored, like, my ex-boyfriend would walk up to high school classmates or people he graduated with, they wanted nothing to do with me, and he wouldn't even introduce me. He, as I can see, he had the nerve to try to say, "You can't say I don't love you." Yes, I can. If when you're taking me to your racist hometown and you already bragged about not celebrating African American month, you're saying you never need to know African American history. And so whenever something comes up on the news and then I try to tell you the importance of it, you brush it off and say, "Oh, that doesn't matter." But I'm like, no, history is like dominoes. Once you flip one over, it's cause and effect. And so this is happening because of, and then, yeah, let's just say, he's not a sapiosexual. He just tried to play it on TV anyway. So, whenever he got, like, saw one of his high school classmates and I'm right next to him, he wouldn't even acknowledge me. He would act like I wasn't even next to him. His daughter even noticed. His daughter would be like, "What about her? Like, what's going on? Why didn't you introduce her? Why didn't you?" And he would just brush it off and he kept walking. He ignored her and kept walking. And then when his neighbors, if like there was a July like concert thing going on or whatever, they were all staring at me, staring so hard. The oldest daughter was crying. "They're so racist. Why are they racist? Oh my gosh." It's like, "How can you deal with this?" And I'm like, "Honey, I'm black. What do you, I was born black. I was born, like, you act like I'm not used to this." "Oh my gosh, I'm so." I was like, "Okay, like, stop. Like, you're not racist. You understand what's going on. Remember this right now. So when people try to tell you racism is over, remember this situation right now." Because even that night, she asked me, "Why did my dad refuse to introduce you to his classmates?" And I said, "Well, your father is showing that he still has some racism lingering in him." And so I circle back to that, the summer day when he was sitting in his chair and he had the nerve to tell me when his youngest daughter graduates high school, we were going to move back up. No, I told him, "No, we're not. You're moving. I'm not going." He looked at me and I looked right back at him. I'm like, "I'm not moving. No. You think I'm going to welcome myself up to a racist city? In my opinion?" It's like, no, like, and there's other situations I'll talk about later that happened in that city. That, it, it felt like a sundown city. It's like, because I remember one time the sun was coming down, I was like, "Ooh, are we going to the house yet? We better be going to that house real soon." And yeah, but anyway. So he's trying to call me spoiled. He's trying to do all this other stuff. And he doesn't know like that. I knew that I already knew I was going to break up with him, but I was too scared because I was scared that I'm going to end up alone, and I was so scared because no one else was ever going to love me, because my mother always told me since I was a junior in high school, as long as you walk like that, no one's ever going to want you, love you, or marry you. And then I kept running into men telling me that, okay, once you can walk right, you'll be good enough. Once you can walk right, you'll be amazing. You're too pretty to walk like that. It's like you have two masters and you walk like that. It's like, so you have to be at least 10% stupid. Yes, I've heard it all, and I say different ones each time because there's so many that linger in my head. Each time I'm gonna say a different one. So, anyways, back to like now I can get back to the oil change, because like he doesn't realize this situation. Like when he was going to move up north, if we were still together, I'd be like, remember when you did this? Because he always like in one of the last messages he sent me, you can't tell me I don't love you, or you can't tell me, like he can't tell me that he does not love me. So when I said I need to get an oil change pretty soon, and he's mocking me, and he was like, I'm so bougie, you're such a bougie, like he's like doing all this. I'm like, what are you doing? And he was like, let me give you the oil change. And but it's like he did it so often, I was just like, you know what, fine, fine. Like I just want him to be quiet, and I'm so tired of doing. And that's one reason I said I will never be. I'm not going to be a submissive woman. I'm not. And so if that's another reason I stay single, I will stay single and proud to be single. Because at my church, I remember my pastor the summer before, he was teaching on relationships and all, like a woman's like stance, like she's supposed to be submissive and all this other stuff. And he even said, if a man says something and you disagree, he's the leader, he's the man, so you cannot argue. If he's wrong, let him be wrong. After what I've been through, no, never again, never again. Because okay, I let him give me the oil change, right? And so I started driving my car around and everything, and I'm still living at home or whatever. But I remember, like, there's a lot of friction with me, like with both of my parents. I've never had a good relationship with them, and my relationship is better with my dad, but still a lot of friction. I'm being real. And remember, gray sheep society. If you've been listening to my videos, you already know about the gray sheep. So I'm gonna put gray sheep into this title actually. So gray sheeps. Yeah, just know this episode is dedicated for you guys, for the squad. Okay, and if you don't, like, go back to other episodes, I from now on I will start putting gray sheep into the title. So, but anyway, but then I started, like, my dad one day, he was like, when's the last time you got an oil change? Because he wakes me up on a Saturday morning, and I'm like, and my ex just gave me an oil change that week, or like that weekend or the weekend before. And I was like, yeah, I just got an oil change. No, you didn't. I don't believe you. And he was like, you're just lying to me. You're nothing but a liar. You're a liar. And I'm just like, I got an oil change. Give me the receipt then. Because I normally go to an oil change place. Now I don't have a receipt. But my ex told me I'm not supposed to mention him to my parents. And so that's the other thing. So if you don't want me to mention you to my parents, but then I live at home and my parents always think I'm a liar, so I always need to have proof of what every step and everything I do, I always have to have a backing proof and evidence. So now I don't have a receipt to an oil change place. I have the receipt for the oil. So now who who is it going to look like gave me the oil? I'm going to have to mention him. And so now it's like my dad called me that he's giving me this whole lecture on how I'm such a liar, I'm such a liar. And I was like, I have a receipt, fine. So I go upstairs, I get on my cell phone, I'm calling my now ex-boyfriend, or then boyfriend or whatever. And I'm like, I have to tell them. And it's like, you're gonna have to meet them. Cause yeah, it's really funny because he even said, you never introduced me to your parents, because every time I tried to, he's refused. I invited him over to this house over 12 to 20 times, literally. It's probably, yeah, over 20 times, because the Christmases he wasn't up north with his mom because his ex-wife had the kids and everything, or Thanksgivings, Easter, Super Bowls. I invited him to all those things. He said no each and every time. So, yeah. Anyway, so I'm calling him. He's like, no, don't mention me. Don't put me in it. Don't put me into the situation. Excuse me? You kept gaslighting me. Ooh, I didn't say that because I didn't know what gaslighting was, but I remember I was like, you put me into the situation. You kept saying I was bougie. You kept telling me that like, I'm spoiled and all this other stuff. And you said that you have to give me the oil change. So now I don't have a receipt for an oil change place. You gave me the oil change, but now I can't include you, or I can't put you in this situation. So now I'm going to be yelled at. I'm going to be the one punished. And so I go back downstairs. I don't have a receipt. And I knew, you're just nothing but a liar. You're nothing but a liar. Why did I have you? You're such a liar. And so I'm hearing all of this, and I'm trying, like, I am bursting into tears because I'm just like, I am telling you the truth. So he goes out to the car, and he was just like, why did I have you? And just like all like saying this stuff. And I'm just like, and he was, and I keep saying I just got an oil change. So here comes the part that's so uncomfortable. He was like, okay, so let's go to the oil change place then. Let's see how new this oil is. And I was like, okay. And then he starts saying, oh, now you want to act smart. Wait until, he's like, oh, wait until we get home. Wait until you see what I'm going to do to you. I was a little nervous, but at the same time, I knew I just had an oil change. So I'm like, okay, let's see. So we drive up to the place, and he's doing this walk like, oh, I can't wait to prove her wrong. I can't wait to yell at her. I can't. And so I get to the front of the line. My dad jumps out of his vehicle, goes up to that guy. Yeah, okay. She's lying, saying that she had an oil change. I need to see how new. I need to see how old this oil is. She's nothing but a liar. He's saying all of this stuff. I am so embarrassed because the workers are hearing this, and I'm crying. And the owner's like, no, no, no. The owner's telling me to calm down. My dad doesn't care. The owner's telling me to calm down. So the owner goes to the thing and checks my oil, and the guy's like, this is brand new oil. She just needs a little more added. It's a little low, but this oil's brand new. And I just remember in tears, I'm like, thank you. I'm telling the truth. I'm telling the truth, and I'm breathing hard. I feel like I'm having a panic attack. And my dad's just like, how did this happen? I know. And I'm just like, you hear it from him. He's showing you the oil. It's brand new. That oil was like a week or a week and a half old. Like that's it. A week to a week and a half. Literally. Because it was that not even a week and a half. It was basically, yeah. Yeah, it was the week before. And so, literally brand new oil. And so we get home, he's still yelling at me and telling me how I got away with it this time. He knows I'm lying. And I'm just like, how am I lying? And so after that, I was like, no, you are never like, after that, I get to his house, and I am emotional, and I'm just like, I am never doing that again. You're never touching my car again. How dare you? I can't stand you. And he's like, oh, well, you just needed more oil. It's not my problem. It's not my fault. It's like, you should have just bought another bottle. You told me get 2 bottles. You told me how much to get. I bought what you told me. And so he tried to blame me on, I better get like, and after he checked it and said I was all set. So you're going to blame me when you told me I'm all set? It's like, I could have went and bought another bottle if it was needed. But I'm going to tell you part 2, because there's another. Whew. So when this man tries to tell me, you can't tell me that I don't love you? Yes, I can. Because each and every time you put me in awkward, awful situations, you left me there to dry. You did not care. You ignored me, abandoned me. And with a man, like, women want security. He never, nah, he left me. Like, I would choose that bear so quickly. But anyway, this is the Handicapable Black Woman Throne Room. I am a woman, I am of color, and I am handicapable. But most importantly, I am human. And I'm spilling all my tea. You're human too, but let's build some tea together. And be careful who you date, be careful who you go out with. If a guy tries to say you're bougie, he can't afford you. If a guy says you're spoiled, that just means he can't help you with your dreams. He can't, he will not, he's too lazy. He doesn't want to work hard enough to help you get to the level that you are either at or that you want to get to. And that's exactly what Mr. No Heart did. He was not willing. It's like, because I worked my jobs, I got my education, I was trying to get a business going with him. He's the one, he quit the business in like in less than 6 months. But yeah, I told part of that story. I'll say it again. I'll say it again. Take care. Have a great sweetest day. If you have a boo, have a beautiful sweetest day.